Hi guys, my name's Emily, and today I'm going to be doing the Valentine's Day tag. This tag was originally created by Jo from Jo Reads Books. I will link her in the description below, and I was tagged by Jane from Yes Miss Jane, and I will also link her in the description below. The Valentine's Day tag asks you to answer 6 questions about romantic things in like all of literature, your favorites ever. When I thought about this, I couldn't think of anything, like I couldn't narrow anything down. In Jane's video, she makes it more specific. She does an Austen-themed Valentine's Day tag. I am going to use my thesis shelf. I'm studying fairly popular young adult literature, so you will probably recognize these characters too, because I'm working with my thesis shelf, and these are all completed series. They have been completed for a while now, so I am considering it fair game to talk about characters and relationships and stuff that didn't work out, but I also feel like you maybe need to know in case you haven't finished one of these series. You could avoid being spoiled and come back later once you finish this. So let's get into this. Number 1, favorite couple ever. You want the relationship. Out of this shelf, my favorite is actually Katniss and Peeta in Mockingjay. Katniss has 2 options, and she chooses the option that brings out the warmer, nicer side of her personality. Katniss can be very cold and calculating. Peeta's almost her polar opposite, with his lighter hair color, and he's a baker. He's like a softer, artistic person, and I think Peeta really complements the softer aspects of her and brings those aspects out. Initially when I read the books, I was not happy that Katniss ended up with Peeta, but reading them again and studying this in class actually helped me to see their relationship in a new light, and I think out of all of the books on this shelf, Katniss and Peeta is the relationship that I am probably happiest with. Question number 2, the relationship that never happened. And for that, I have to say Harry and Draco. Not in the slasher fanfic way. Obviously when Harry rejects Draco's friendship, he's kind of choosing Gryffindor over Slytherin, but I almost wonder if things maybe would have worked out better for Draco Malfoy if they had been friends and maybe Harry had influenced him a little bit. Oops, that post-it note is for when I have to have this read by. Or in the later books, I think we see how complex Draco's situation is, and if they'd become friends here, if things would have worked out a lot differently for the both of them. So Harry and Draco is the relationship, the friendship, the acquaintanceship that never happened, that I almost wish it did. Of course, then we wouldn't have like a small-time enemy. Question number 3, my crush, any character. I'm inclined to say that my crush from this shelf would be Aragorn from The Lord of the Rings. Not sure if that's because Viggo Mortensen from the movies has clouded my judgment of the actual character. Number 4 is the worst relationship. And for that, we can just give that to the whole Twilight series between Edward and Bella. Edward is very controlling in my opinion. He seems to make a lot of choices for Bella. His whole family kind of coddles and controls her because she is human, but they very much take away her agency. There are probably people that disagree with me and feel that Bella and Edward were meant to be. Question number 5 is your favorite love triangle, and that has to go to The Hunger Games. Again, I think the dynamics between Katniss and Gale and Katniss and Peeta are interesting. Katniss kind of has the opportunity to be in a relationship with both guys, and Gale is like her. Gale is outdoorsy, he's a hunter, he can be cold and calculating, as we see in the later books. So when Katniss is with him, he brings that out in her. And then, like I said earlier, when Katniss is with Peeta, Peeta is very soft and caring. He's the boy that intentionally burned a loaf of bread to give to a starving girl, right? Like, Peeta is very, very caring and selfless. Like, his whole mission, basically, in The Hunger Games is to get Katniss home alive. Again, Peeta brings that out in Katniss, and I'm not saying that Katniss's personality changes with each guy, it's just that each guy has the ability to bring out these qualities in her that are already in her, if that makes sense. This is very early in the morning. It's interesting that Katniss goes to both sides, to both Gale and Peeta, and makes a choice based on her experiences with both. And the 6th and final question is your favorite tragic love story. I guess you could say, here's your tragic love story. But reading this book again, I'm only this far in for my second reading. My first time reading this, I really liked Four and Tris as a couple. Reading this again, there are a lot of moments, like right off the bat, where Four is doing some creepy touching things. He doesn't seem to be touching anyone else the way he's touching Tris. I'm getting kind of a weird, pervy feeling from the relationship this time. Before I started reading this last night, I probably would have said that this is my favorite tragic love story. Filming this now this morning after reading this, I don't don't know if their love story is tragic or if there's really a love story there. Anyways, more thoughts on that later when I review this book. That was my attempt at doing the Valentine's Day tag with just my thesis books. Limiting myself to this made it easier, but also harder to pick things that actually fit the questions 100%. Hopefully you found this fun to watch. Because it's so close to Valentine's Day, I invite anyone who sees this, who wants to do this tag, to do it. I would just like to thank Jane from Yes Miss Jane for tagging me to do this. It was fun to think about some of these relationships and why I like them, why I don't like them, so thank you for tagging me. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye!